Hello to you newcomers and welcome back subscribers. This is Big Baby Props and I'm the Big Baby. And this is episode 4 of my complete 3D printed clone armor tutorials. Here I've got the printed pieces of the chest piece, the printed pieces of the back piece, and in this episode we're going to be assembling them as well as figuring out how much each cost to make. So let's get started. The nice thing about 3D printed props is that they're pretty easy to estimate cost. The way we're going to do it is we're going to take our pieces, put them in this bowl that I have sitting on top of a scale, and the weight that all the pieces are will tell us how much filament we used, which will tell us the total cost. So let's take a look. This is a back piece actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As well as this is. So we'll move those over and put these guys in here. Now you would also have to include supports in this calculation, but luckily I didn't have to use a lot for the chest and back piece. Let's see. So it was 1 pound, 3.7 ounces. Now filament rolls usually come in rolls of 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds, and they cost around 15 bucks. So that's some good math. So what we've got here is a chest piece and a back piece for less than $30. Guys, that's a great deal. Armor sets online can range from, I've seen them go for over $2,000. So if we can make an entire set of armor for around $200 in filament, we're gonna have to put in some extra man hours, sure, but that's a lot of money you're gonna be saving. And it's part of the reason why I love 3D printing so much. It can enable us to make our own armor all at home, which is pretty freaking cool. So with that, let's get to assembly. Now with me here, I've got probably one of my favorite tools for 3D printing processing. It's a soldering iron. It's used to connect electrical components. You use it to melt solder, which is like a meltable metal that has a low melting point. But we're going to be using it on this PLA to weld the pieces together and make for a much stronger seal. So I am going to plug this in and we'll get started. Also with me, I've got just some Loctite super glue. This is going to connect some of the interior. With our soldering iron, we'll only be able to weld the inside, maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, because we don't want to go all the way through. This super glue is going to be holding together the rest of the armor. So I'm going to set this on something that I'm going to set that in there so that it won't burn my table. And we will start assembling the pieces. So first I'm going to apply just a few drops of our super glue that will hold it in together while our soldering iron warms up. There we go. And you want to try and use your fingers to keep the pieces as flush as you can. This is going to be real important later on as we're sanding and smoothing the helmet. If your pieces are off-centered or not flush, it's going to cause you a lot more work in the future. So this is going to help us out quite a bit. And once it's held in place with the glue, we can begin to solder. Just take this out and run it along the seam on the inside. Now remember, it won't be completely stuck together while the filament's still hot, so you want to keep constant pressure on it. Just go along the entire seam there. Try and keep as much plastic as you can along the seam. It will try and ooze out along the sides, which will affect its strength. And after we're done, I might go through and dab on some more super glue on the outside. So there's that side. Let's do this one. Let's put a little bit of super glue. And I'm going to try not to solder my face, because you want to be extra sure not to set this down on anything you don't want melted. If you're looking for a stronger seam, you can also take some spare filament that you have, maybe from almost empty rolls or some failed prints, and you can melt them over the seams, which is what we might do, because recycling is great. Okay, we'll let that cool off, and we want to hold it in place while it's doing so it doesn't move. And now we'll just go through again and put some deeper holes in there. Now this soldering iron will go through the plastic pretty fast, so you want to be careful how long you hold it on there. And I'm just going to pour some more glue up on the inside. Now this one did kind of have a bigger seam in the front here than the last one. That's okay. We are going to be filling in all the print lines as well as the seams later on. So while you want to make sure your parts are all aligned properly, it's also not the end of the world if they're slightly off. Let's get these welded together. Like it's coming along. Let's get these last two pieces on there. Okay, looky there. We've got a chest piece all made up. Now, like I said, don't worry too much about these seams here or here. We're going to be filling those in another step and in another video. But I'm just going to add a little bit more super glue to the outside, just because the soldering iron can't reach all the way through the print, obviously, and we don't want it to. So I'm just going to drip some in there and along the seam here. Okay. I'm going to hang this up so that it doesn't burn my apartment down, and try it on. So that's a pretty good fit. Luckily we did the size verification, the little bands, to make sure that it would, but overall I'm pleased with how it came out. Let's do the back piece the same way. So here we go, guys. We got our chest and back piece assembled, and all for less than $30. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm gonna kind of try and put this on. Let's slide the back piece out under there, and the chest piece. Sorry about the microphone. Now it fits me pretty well. It might be a little snug, but that's okay. They don't have to be welded together, the chest and back piece at least. So next I'll have to print the rest of the armor, do the same thing that we watched today, and then we can start with the next step. Unfortunately, my next video won't be able to come out for a few more months. Right now it's the dead of winter in the Midwest, and my outdoor activities are pretty limited right now. So I'll have to print the rest of the armor and weld it all together like we did today. And then once the weather's a little bit better, I can go outside and I'll show you guys what we can do next. So I hope to see you guys in a few months. I hope you learned something in the video today, and I hope to see you next time.